Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Simple and Secure Mobile Access with Anar Taori and Mark Campbell. Anar Taori, Senior Director of Product Management, is responsible for product management and strategy for IBM's market-leading enterprise mobility management platform, Mobilefirst Protect, formerly MAS 360. After building our workplace partner program and launching our application security products, she's now focused on mobile identity and access, bringing cloud security to mobile devices. Mark Campbell is an IT security veteran with more than 15 years of helping enterprises adopt security solutions. Mark currently is the portfolio manager leading IBM's Security Cloud Security segment. My name is Kayla Heineman, and I'll be your moderator today. Now, real quick, just a few housekeeping items before we begin. If you've joined a webinar with us in the past, then you might notice we have a new look. We are using the On24 webinar platform to enhance your webinar experience. The webinar console is completely customizable, so you can enlarge the slides and minimize the Q&A box. We hope you take advantage and play around with your console. This webinar is expected to last about 45 to 60 minutes and is in listen-only mode. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, so if you have a question you'd like answered, please be sure to post it publicly in the Q&A box located on the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free to minimize this box if you'd like. You can access this by clicking the red Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And finally, we are recording today's session, and we'll make the link to the recording and slides available by email. So at this point, I'd like to go ahead and pass it off to Mark Campbell to kick it off with today's agenda. Mark?
Thank you, Kayla, and thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. As Kayla mentioned, we'll be spending about 40 to 45 minutes, and we wanted to leave some time for you to ask your questions at the end. So feel free to go ahead and put them into the Q&A panel there, and we'll be looking through those, and we may be able to get to some of them throughout the course of the presentation. Some of the things that we'll be talking about today, the big one is about cloud application discovery and risk, and in particular, how this pertains to mobile and the mobile device gap that exists, or also known as the mobile blind spot that exists within a lot of enterprises. We'll talk a little bit about deploying apps for mobile devices and how you can securely manage these devices and the applications that go onto them. And at the end, we'll spend some time with your questions. So let's get to it. So, what's the big deal with cloud apps and mobile devices? Well, we did some research over the summer, and some of the results we found were not surprising, but definitely something that has a lot of large enterprises and smaller enterprises very concerned about what's going on with their employees. Now, our particular survey focused on Fortune 1,000 employees, and we found that 1 in 3 Fortune 1,000 employees will upload corporate data to the cloud. Now, these are cloud apps that are not enterprise-sanctioned cloud apps. So this was kind of interesting, but what makes it even more interesting is that a majority of these employees knew that this was a violation of their corporate policy and continued to do it anyway. Now, we've got some thoughts on that we'll share with you in just a moment, but that's pretty surprising, is that more than half these employees said, I know this is wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway. And we also found that 1 in 4 of these employees was using their corporate credentials, meaning that they were using their corporate email address and very likely using their corporate passwords to do this. And this puts the company at risk when the users are putting their corporate credentials out there in the third-party apps that aren't being managed or secured by the enterprise. So that's something that is certainly an eye-opener for a lot of the CISOs that we talk to. But when we drill into the real details of this, what we found is that these employees weren't trying to be bad and trying to put the company at risk. What they were trying to do was find better ways to do their jobs. They were trying to get their jobs done, whether it was sharing files or taking notes. They were just finding better ways and faster ways to do it. And they turn to the cloud because these cloud services, for the most part, are very easy to find and very easy to use, and they're often little or no cost to the employees. So think about some of the file sharing sites or some of the collaboration tools out there. A lot of individuals within organizations and even small teams of people say, let's just use this cloud app. And oftentimes, that's because they're not able to find something within the IT, within their IT services that enables them to do those same features and functions. So when we look at the IT operations, they're looking at the cloud as, hey, this is a way for us to actually reduce some of the complexity of the services that we're offering and reduce our corporate footprint. And they're looking to say, well, how do we become more of a broker of IT services and deliver it, and starting to build this out. So the cloud for them offers a great opportunity to automate some of the processes they're doing and to consolidate IT management. So we're all for the cloud. Everyone loves the cloud. But when we look at the business itself, there's some serious concerns there, some red flags in that. Now, what do we do about visibility? Once these users are going and using the cloud, our responsibility to audit and control doesn't end just because a user is going out and using cloud applications. So as a result, there are new requirements that go with cloud usage. And let's talk a little bit about that today. Okay, so when we've talked with our CISOs and CIOs, it was a very common theme across all of them. And they said, with everyone using the cloud, my team simply isn't equipped to manage all this employee usage of cloud. Not only what they're doing today, right now, but where we think it's going to go in the future. This is something that is a real problem for them. And these are the things that we hear consistently, this term shadow IT. I'm sure most of you have probably heard about this shadow IT before. This is the use of applications that are not sanctioned or provisioned by the IT teams. But in addition to that, they had concerns about, well, how do we see what people are doing in the applications that we know they're using, applications we've already deployed? These users are going straight to these cloud applications, and we have no idea what's really going on there. And even as we get new applications and we start to roll them out to the employees, how do we make this just really easy so they can start using these applications, because it's very easy for them to find them, very easy for them to start using them, and that's a huge step in order to make sure that employees aren't going out and finding and using their own things. It has to be very easy. And being able to stop the risky behavior, are they following corporate policies? Are they going to the right applications? Some of the other things that we hear consistently is about threats that are coming from the cloud, whether it's users going to cloud applications that could put the company at risk, maybe some shady applications or things that they just find, like ZippyShare or CloudMeter, things that an employee might find very easy, but could pose some risk for the organization. But it's not just the cloud apps that they're going to, but it's what they're doing as well. What types of things are they uploading? What type of behavior are they doing? And as I mentioned before, it's not that the employees are trying to be bad. It's just sometimes they're unaware of what they're doing and how that might put the company at risk. And then there's always compliance and governance concerns. And again, just because you're using the cloud doesn't mean that your responsibilities for compliance and governance end there. So, but the thing that we want to talk about more today is this whole mobile blind spot. And this is something that is a huge problem. We've talked to a lot of CIOs and CISOs, and this continues to be a problem for them. And we'll get into the mobile blind spot and what it is in just a moment. But before we do that, let me talk a little bit more about mobile. And why is this such a huge concern for the CISOs and CIOs out there? And it's because these phones are attached to everyone. They're permanently glued into their hands, it seems. So especially with millennials, right? They've got their phones with them all the time, probably sleeping with them right next to them. They're spending hours every day on these mobile devices, and consider this to them. It's not only do they use it for work, but it's very personal to them. So here's some other numbers for you. 87% of devices will make up 87% of the internet-enabled total sales by 2017. And again, something they can't live without. So what does this mean? Well, it means that IT security has to protect the business and the employees and look at it, well, how do we add the protection all the way down to this mobile device level, because this has become such an integral part of employees' lives and how they work. Okay, so let's talk about this mobile gap or mobile blind spot and tell you a little bit about what this is. So many of you have heard about this technology called CASB, the Cloud Access Security Broker, and this has become a very popular tool for CISOs and IT teams to gain visibility into what's going on with them. So essentially what these solutions do is they will hook into an enterprise network device, whether a gateway or a firewall, and will pull all the information and look to and aggregate this and create some nice reports that say, okay, what are users doing? Which cloud applications are they accessing? So this is one of the primary functions of a CASB device. We call this cloud discovery. So this is a great solution for all traffic that's coming, on premises and employees that are VPNing and going through the corporate network. So this CASB tool, and hopefully, I know this is technology's been around for a few years now, so maybe a lot of you have heard about this or maybe even investigate it yourself. Great solution for helping the CISO determine what's going on and gaining visibility into the cloud usage within the organization. However, there still exists this mobile blind spot. And where this exists is where employees are using their mobile devices, and they could even be in the office, but they're using their cellular networks, whether they're in the office, they're at a coffee shop, or they're using the home Wi-Fi or mobile hotspot. They're using their mobile devices to go directly to the cloud applications. Now, when this happens, the web gateways and the firewalls and all the devices that this CASB is connected into becomes essentially blind. It doesn't have the ability to look at this data and understand what's going on. And this is what has a lot of CISOs worried, is they can't protect what they can't see. So being able to address this mobile blind spot is something that has been a big concern. And we've been going out and talking to a lot of large enterprises and found this to be particularly true for them. And one of the things that we did, and if you've been following IBM and IBM Security, is we launched a new product, it's been almost a month now, called IBM Cloud Security Enforcer. And this is a new CASB space, so this is IBM entering into this new CASB market. But specifically, we designed this product to help address that mobile blind spot. So the solution does a few things in particular. It helps detect all the cloud apps in use, so it's not just the shadow IT, but the clouds that are provisioned as well. It helps the enterprise connect users to approved cloud apps, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. But again, being able to roll out the applications that you know you want to use is hugely important, and being able to do that efficiently. And then finally, it adds some additional protections and safeguards to protect against cloud-related threats. And we'll get into the details here in just a second. So conceptually, think of this as a service, and it is delivered as a service that helps guide employees to use the approved cloud applications while coaching them, or in some cases even blocking them from using risky cloud applications. So there's a number of different underlying technologies that make all this work. And for example, on the discovery and visibility, for those of you familiar with IBM and some of the technology tools we have, you may have heard of the tool QRadar, which is a SIM device or SIM solution. So under the covers here, we're using a lot of that technology to correlate all of the cloud activities. We're pulling in information from all the network devices that you may have. We're pulling that in, mapping out all the cloud apps that are in use, and comparing that to our X-Force data as well. So if you're familiar with IBM X-Force, this is our threat research part of IBM that has essentially the entire internet cataloged and categorized and able to pull information on all these cloud applications with details. Now, in addition to what we've done with the discovery and visibility part, we've also added in built-in identity and access controls. And this leverages some of the leading solutions that IBM already has to simplify cloud app provisioning and access control. So this is built in. We also have cloud event correlation. So because we're able to look at all this traffic, and we're looking at not just where users are going, but the actual user accounts that are being used, and doing cross-cloud event correlation. So we get a good sense of what users are doing, even building up things like risk estimates for particular users. In addition to this, we've added in some threat intelligence. So this is being able to provide threat intelligence on cloud-based risks coming from the cloud, so whether it's malware or it's botnet activity, we're able to find all that and just give you a little bit of scope on what X-Force is doing. And this is monitoring 15 billion security events every day. It's pulling in threat intelligence from 270 million endpoints. So the database itself has got 25 billion web pages and images all built in there. So you can imagine this is pretty broad, and it really takes a company the size of IBM to do this and to do it well. So we're pulling in all this information, developing reputation scores for all of these websites and cloud apps that we're able to pull right in. So we're able to do all this, and in addition to what we've done here, it's deployed on software and has a proxy component. Now, the proxy component is specifically dedicated for mobile devices. Now, the mobile device traffic is routed through the Cloud Enforcer proxy, where it can apply all of this. So it's applying the discovery and visibility, knowing what applications are being used from mobile devices. It can provide identity and access control services, event correlation, and threat prevention. So we're getting all this live feed from X-Force, as well as our IPS technology as well, that's doing some of the standard security things like signature and protocol analysis, looking for threats. So all this is built in. And then we also have the capability to do some policy enforcement. So this provides a layer of compliance capabilities for organizations to enforce their corporate policies. And I'll show you a little bit more about what this looks like. So just to get into some of the specifics here on what this looks like and how it works, I'll show you just a little bit here. On the top, you see just a standard dashboard of all the applications that it finds. And this is a nice graphical dashboard that enables you to go and drill down at specific details. In this case, on the lower screenshot here, we're showing a reputation score. You can click on a particular application, and it pulls in all of its X-Force details. And this is a dynamic reputation here. So as we've seen, application scores will change from day to day, week to week, based on new activities. And for example, some file sharing sites, their scores might go up higher, being more risky if they've had an outbreak of malware, which is pretty frequent. So the scores are dynamic, they're changing, they're not static. So this is real-time information that helps you as an administrator understand what applications are being used and if there's some concerns that maybe you need to address. So in addition to that, and this is the part that we think is just really cool, you as an administrator can provide a catalog of all the approved apps. So let me just go back one slide here for just a moment. When we show you the application scores here, and I can, from this particular screen, I can add one of these applications to my list of approved apps. So if you look on the little details here, I can like one of these applications, I can click it to be approved, and once I've done that, it becomes an approved application. And it will show up in my approved application catalog, which is available to all the users. So for end users, they get this application catalog. So think of it as like an app store where they can easily find applications they want to use that have been approved by IT. So in addition to that, we can also enable our single sign-on straight from this window. So not only can we approve the applications, but we can leverage a single sign-on so they can use their corporate credentials and get signed on directly to these applications. They can find it. They can create their own independent launch pad, and with a single click, They can self-provision. This adds a tremendous layer of efficiency, both for the users to get up and running and be productive quickly, but also for IT operations, where they can set this up so users can self-provision, and it really aids in the acceleration of deploying applications within the enterprise. And we'll talk a little bit more about the mobile side here in just a moment when I turn over to Anar. So in addition to that, we can see what the users are doing. We build up risk ratings for users. So if I'm going out to some applications that I know that are known to be associated with malware or spammy, or maybe I'm using anonymization services, that all goes into my risk score here. And as an administrator, I can see, well, who are my risky users? And then, maybe those users need to go back to some training, or maybe we need to talk with them. Okay, so getting back to the mobile here, what does this really mean? Well, as an administrator, I have a Cloud Enforcer app that I can use that pulls a lot of this information right to my app, gives me notifications. So if I know that something is going on or a policy alert gets triggered, I can take action directly from my phone. I can either be notified on this, or I can actually block an application if I wanted to. So that's pretty interesting to be able to do that. From the user side, there's a Enforcer application as well that helps direct the user. So let's say I'm going to use CloudMe, which has been blocked by my corporate IT. We can block that app, and we can also notify the user to say, we have a corporate account with Box. Use Box instead. So, and that's really important, because just blocking applications without telling the user why they're being blocked is extremely important. If the user is just trying to access something they can't, they're going to think something's wrong with their phone, or why can't I get to this? But being able to notify that user saying, hey, we want to coach you to use the approved applications and to use safe applications. So that's all built into the solution as well. So how do we make sure that everyone is using these applications and that you get the benefits of the CASB through your mobile device? Well, to do all that, you really need to be able to have an EMM solution that works well with your CASB solution. And in this case, I've got the CASB and EMM, best friends forever, right? And this is absolutely true now. These solutions have to work together, and they have to support each other. And from here, I'm going to turn it over to Anar to talk a little bit about our Mobilefirst Protect and some of the things that we can do there that really complement and fit well with what we're doing with the Cloud Security Enforcer. Anar?
Hey, thanks, Mark. Hi, everyone. So one of the key elements to IBM's mobile security framework and Cloud Security Enforcer is really IBM Mobilefirst Protect, formerly known as MAS 360. It provides a single platform to really manage and secure all your mobile assets. And there are really 5 solution areas designed to meet your specific mobility requirements here. So going from left, starting from the left corner there, we have Advanced Mobile Management, and that is our foundational suite. It enables organizations to manage and secure enterprise-owned and personal BYO, smartphones, tablets, and laptops. It streamlines the provisioning of corporate-owned and employee-owned BYOD devices over the air with features for enrollment, configuration, security policy management, and device actions such as locate, lock, and wipe. So organizations can now manage the smartphones and tablets featuring all of the different platforms. The supported platforms today are iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and BlackBerry. They can gain complete visibility of devices, security, and the network, and they can enforce compliance with real-time and automated actions. It also simplifies deploying private and public applications by delivering an easy-to-use enterprise app catalog with full security and operational lifecycle management. So that's about advanced management. The next one is really our secure productivity suite. And that really what that helps to do is to separate your personal data from your corporate data. And that includes our secure email, browser, as well as our application security. And together, that forms a solution which helps in data separation. The secure email is really an intuitive PIM app. It contains, in order to containerize emails, calendar, and contacts on devices, and it allows employees to securely collaborate with employees while preserving the mobile experience on their personal devices. The secure browser is a feature-rich web browser for secure access to internet sites and web applications. So you don't now, as well as you can also do URL filtering. And then Mobilefirst Protect application security, which is part of this as well, it enables us to secure and protect third-party applications as well as in-house applications with full-featured SDK and wrapping. So the next one is secure doc sharing. And that really provides a secure encrypted container and productivity suite so that users can access their documents from mobile devices. They can distribute documents to mobile devices. They can view, credit, edit, create, edit, and sync and share documents on mobile devices. The next one is the Mobile Enterprise Gateway. And this basically offers simple, secure access to behind the firewall business resources such as SharePoint, Windows file shares, intranet sites, and databases. And this is also used for applications to enhance enterprise applications with secure and seamless access to internal data and resources without requiring a full device-level VPN. And why this is important is because it now does not expose the other data or malware that you may have on your device and bring it into the corporate network. And then lastly is mobile threat management. This is really important. As you know, mobile malware is really the next big security threat to every enterprise. So with the trend towards bring your own devices and the proliferation of mobile apps, your enterprise data is especially vulnerable to rogue apps and malicious websites. And so IBM Mobilefirst Protect threat management detects, analyzes, and remediates mobile risks, including malware and suspicious system configurations and compromised devices, and delivers a new level of security for the enterprise. And this is delivered through our integration with Trusteer, which is leveraged by hundreds of millions of end users to protect organizations against fraud and data breaches. So the core of what Mobilefirst Protect enables is the ability for organizations to take employee productivity to a new level. We talked about our collaboration suite, and so we talked, which really delivers a comprehensive set of business applications that include email, calendar, contacts, SaaS, browser, and app controls, as well as content collaboration and editing, all secured within a trusted workplace environment. It's designed to provide seamless access to work emails, intranets, apps, and files while preventing data leaks. You can also use our user-based persona policies to deliver this capability consistently across all the different device types and platforms and provide a native-like experience for the end user. We integrate with Microsoft Exchange, Office, SharePoint, Lotus Notes, Connections, Google Apps, and other collaboration tools, so you can leverage those investments as well. And we have a robust set of third-party app partners that provide for enterprise-grade security and interoperability to enhance productivity and collaboration. So privacy is a top concern for employees because most employees use their mobile data for devices for both personal and business purposes. And this can be deployed. Our secure productivity suite can actually be deployed without the need for MDM profiles and provides the option to manage only the container. So IT does not need to get control of the entire device or the rest of the data on the device. So when you look at the application management, one of the areas that we focus on is basically providing a comprehensive application management platform for simplifying and simply distributing and distributing apps, updating them, and managing not only public apps but also private and purchase apps through an enterprise app catalog. So users can now deploy custom enterprise app catalogs. IT administrators can deploy custom enterprise app catalogs for users to easily view available apps, install apps, and be alerted of app updates. Administrators can also blacklist and whitelist apps, and they can administer app volume purchase programs. In addition, it also provides an app cloud for hosting applications and distributing them. So what you see here is really I, as an IT administrator, have used our web-based admin portal to upload the Cloud Security Enforcer application, which is available in the public app store, and distribute it to my device. And on my device, I now have a on-device app catalog. As you look at the device catalog on the device, we provide a self-service app catalog with a very native user experience. And we have worked in collaboration with Apple designers to really provide this native experience. It keeps the app information up to date with the public app store and simplifies discovery of relevant apps. So you have very intuitive search controls. There it highlights the recent and most popular apps as well. And you can promote key apps for users by providing app bundles, as well as featuring bundles and apps, and being able to update and install apps with one touch. So with Mobilefirst Protect, to recap, really, with Mobilefirst Protect, you can manage and secure mobile devices, as well as use the enterprise app catalog for distributing approved third-party and in-house applications, such as distributing Cloud Security Enforcer, which then allows your users, your customers, to get cloud visibility into the applications that they are being used, into the cloud apps that are being used by the end users. Mark?
Yeah, so thank you, Anar. So just to kind of show how these two work together, the big thing is the user experience, right? Being able to provide that list of approved applications both on the mobile device, which we can do with Mobilefirst Protect. And for those of you, I've been looking at the question menu. Yes, Mobilefirst Protect is also MAS 360. It was renamed, so just to make sure we're absolutely clear on that, yes. So we can create parity between the applications that you see on your mobile device and the applications that are available to that user who's accessing it from a laptop or desktop behind the corporate firewall. When we combine these two together, we still can provide that protection, so that the IPS and the anti-malware and all of this by looking at the network traffic, as well as being able to manage security on the device itself. We're able to provide that single sign-on capability. So if you are using a mobile app, you can use that same corporate credential that you have to log into multiple applications through the Enforcer Identity Services. We also have that ability to provide the coaching and notifications, so notifications for administrators, coaching for end users if they're going to applications that maybe aren't approved. We can redirect them, and policy enforcement as well, and event correlation. So again, we're able to capture all of the user details, including what accounts are they using to log in? Am I using my IBM account to log into Box, or am I using my Gmail account? So being able to understand what's happening there and identify rogue activity as well. So these two solutions work very nicely together to help you roll out applications to the enterprise. And so if we were to recap a little bit more, what did we get with all of this? Well, you get that total cloud app visibility, identity and access control, and threat prevention, all built into a single solution that can also now help you address that mobile blind spot. And hopefully you're aware of what this blind spot is and why it's such a big problem. And it has been a real challenge for many enterprises to solve. And we have a great solution for that today. We've also integrated all of IBM's threat intelligence capabilities there to help make sure that your users are safe when they're out using their mobile devices and browsing, using cloud applications, and make sure that we're protecting the enterprise as well. But most importantly, we want to help you speed adoption of cloud apps, whether it's corporate firewall, going through browsers, or on the mobile device using native apps. So we want to make sure that you can do this very efficiently and safely, and that you've got total control here. So for more information on any of these products, you can go to ibm.com. We're going to open this up to Q&A in just a moment, but before we do that, Kayla has a question for you. Kayla?
All right. Thanks, Mark. So we're going to give Mark and Anar a second here to review your questions so that we can dive into the Q&A. But first, can you just take a minute and let us know if you'd like more information? If you'd like to hear from Mark and his team about IBM Cloud Security Enforcer, please select the first option. If you'd like myself and Anar and the rest of our team to reach out to give you more information about IBM Mobilefirst Protect, formerly MAS 360, you can select the second option. Or if you'd like to hear from both of us, go ahead and select the third option. Or if you don't want to be bothered at this time, you can select the fourth option. We completely understand. So this will give us an idea of who we should follow up with after this webinar. So I'll just leave this up here for a few minutes to let everybody go ahead and submit their responses. In the meantime, if you want to submit any questions that you have for Mark or Anar now, you can submit them through the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. We're going to go ahead and dedicate the rest of the time here to your questions. I also want to take this time to remind you that we are recording today's presentation, and we will be sending out the recording and slides for today's event via email, so you can watch your inbox for that email coming at you probably tomorrow or Monday. So with that, I think we'll dedicate the rest of the time here to your questions. So Mark, Anar, over to you.
Yeah, sure. I see a question here which says, how do I acquire the Enterprise App Catalog? And so the Enterprise App Catalog that I showed, there are really two aspects of this. There is a web-based portal, administrator portal, where if you navigate to the Apps tab, you should be able to see the App Catalog there, which then provides you the ability to actually upload and distribute applications to devices, etc. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is the on-device app catalog, and that is something that you have on the mobile devices. So all of this is available when you have enrolled for your MAS 360 trial. If not, please reach out to us and we can help you get set up.
Great. I see another question about what happens if a user tries to access an application that is not approved. Well, there's a couple of different things that we can do. So I think as a general rule, we say blocking all cloud applications isn't always a great thing to do, and a lot of times that can backfire. But certainly all of that cloud activity can be logged, and it can be triggered, and there can be policies in place that we can see what users are doing and create a risk profile for those users. But yes, administrators can be notified, it's logged, and we know when users are going and using applications that have not been approved by the administrator. So all of that is gathered, that information is gathered and collected and part of the Cloud Enforcer solution. There's another question here about how is Cloud Enforcer licensed. Well, Cloud Enforcer, it is delivered as a service, so it's a SaaS offering, so it's a per user, per month subscription for that. Now it looks like there's a couple more questions on the Mobilefirst Protect as well.
Yeah, there looks like there is people are asking, is Mobilefirst Protect the same as MAS 360? And yes, the answer is that's right. It is MAS 360. That's the platform. It is being rebranded by IBM to Mobilefirst Protect. And customers will be getting information more about the name change.
Okay, so there was a question about the app catalog for the endpoint for the phone, and there's also one about the Cloud Enforcer itself, and that's something that is built into the Cloud Enforcer solution. So every user would have a launch pad that where they can add their own applications. And in addition to that, there is think of it as almost like an app store as well. So this is very similar to what we're doing with the Mobilefirst Protect. So you can add those applications to both places. So when an application has been approved, that automatically shows up in the app store, so to speak, for Cloud Enforcer. And then users can add those into their own personal launch pads of their favorites. That's something that's very easy. You click a button, you say approve this app, and then it is now available within the App Store. And then in addition to that, you can take it a step further and enable the single sign-on component. So that enables all the identity services to work with that. So if the application supports the single sign-on or SAML, then we can use that as well. So the user just uses their corporate credentials and gets right in. Now it looks like there's a question about Android. Does this work for Android?
Yeah, so the question is it possible to secure Android? And absolutely. We have a full, and that is what Mobilefirst Protect platform does. So the full breadth of capabilities that we talked about here are used to secure Android as well as iOS and Windows phone devices.
There's a question about vulnerability section for endpoint with IBM Cloud Security Enforcer. And just to clarify what Cloud Enforcer does, Cloud Enforcer is looking at all of the network traffic. So it's providing a layer of protection at the network side. So it's looking at where users are connecting to, looking for things that could be indicative of cross-site scripting or things that can be detected through your typical IPS. In addition to that, we're pulling live feeds from IBM's X-Force, so we're able to also spot what we call zero-day threats. So it does not do a endpoint scanning of a mobile device, and we've got other solutions like our Trustier solutions that do that. So the Cloud Enforcer is really looking at the traffic as it's going between the mobile device and the cloud applications and trying to find any threats that could be indicative of an attack or malware or botnets. So answer that question. Also a question here, does this require IBM Cloud or can we use the corporate cloud? So today Cloud Enforcer is running on SoftLayer, so that's IBM's cloud software, but if you have some desire to run this on your own personal cloud, we're certainly open to talk to you about that, and we can make that work if that's something that you're interested in. So that's a great question. All right, well, I think we've hit just about all of the questions here. And if we didn't get to your question, we will have a copy of all these questions, and we can follow up with you via email afterwards, or we can have someone follow up with you. So just sort through and make sure we got them all. I think we did. So I want to thank everyone for your time today, and if you'd like to learn a little bit more about IBM security, I've got some links here for you. You can visit ibm.com/security. Encourage you to go check out our YouTube channel. It's a great way to learn about our products, and we have a lot of great videos there. A lot of them are entertaining, and we've got a pretty clever team here, but a lot of them are also very informational and tell you a lot about some of the products and give you some real tours of what they look like. You can also look for upcoming events and read our blogs on securityintelligence.com, and please follow us on Twitter at IBM Security. Again, thank you very much for all of your time, and Kayla, you want to close us out?
Yeah, definitely. So I'd like to thank Mark and Anar both for their time today. This has been a great presentation and lots of great questions coming in from the audience. So I hope everybody enjoyed the content as well. I do want to give you one final reminder that we will be sending out an email with the recording and slides for today's event. That way you can review anything you missed or share it with others. So on behalf of our presenters and the rest of us here at IBM, we hope you enjoyed today's presentation and have a productive and secure rest of your day. Thanks again.